Hey y'all, it's October the 19th, 2016. The third presidential election debate took place earlier tonight. I was at work, got back from work, and obviously it's all over the internet and the YouTube and stuff, and you can watch it and see all sort of people's analysis about the debate that took place. Alright, so I thought, well, maybe some people would like to hear my analysis. What I'm going to do right now is I'm basically going to summarize everything that's been asked and the way that Hillary Clinton answered these things and the way that Donald Trump answered those things, because maybe you don't like watching politics. All right, that's cool. Maybe you like watching me. All right, I don't know what's wrong with you, but anyways, let's go ahead and just cover it then. All right, so the first question, I just watched it. We're just gonna go step by step. Hillary Clinton was asked about who she was going to appoint as Supreme Court justices, right? And you might understand that one just got murdered and stuff and mysteriously disappeared. Alright, so Hillary Clinton said when she was asked about the Supreme Court justices that she would appoint, she made no reference to any kind of person at all. Well, she said she's going to pick some judges who are down for women's rights, and that's a complete, utter falsehood that everybody understands is pretty much gosh dang ridiculous. Females have rights. They've been had rights. They have all sort of rights. They have more rights than most. Right, and she's talking about LGBT spreading and all sort of stuff. It's like, dude, how many rights can people really have, right? Because they're just all over for rights. They want new rights. They want to invent rights, right? And they want Hillary Clinton. She said she's gonna get someone who uphold the idea of marriage equality, right? But you don't understand that marriage is falling apart left and right here in America, all over the place and stuff. And it's like, dude, what does the government have to do with marriages? You see how they got us, all right? Because they took the insurance. They did all sort of tax breaks for people who are married, right? And to where, like, you can't exist without telling the government that you're married, because that's how you get the tax breaks and stuff, right? So they dangled out a carrot in front of the homosexuals. Homosexuals grabbed on that carrot. They said, we want the right to get married. Guess what? Marriages are falling apart all over the nation, right? So, and also you can get financially absolutely destroyed when the marriage fails, and it probably will fail statistically, right? But all right, here's a quote from Hillary Clinton. She said this exactly at the end of where she was talking about, oh, I'm going to nominate some hypothetical judge who believes all what I believe. All right, she said this. She said, that's the way the Constitution fundamentally should operate. Right? And if you just isolate that one sentence, think about that one sentence. Let's just think about this one particular sentence. She said, that's the way the constitutionally fundamentally should operate. The Constitution fundamentally is very clear. So what you're saying is we are interpreting the Constitution the wrong way, and we should instead interpret it a different way, which would be your way. And that's what that sentence means. Alright? And then Trump was asked the very same question. And like a straight boss, he said, we need Second Amendment. We need that upheld, because believe it or not, whether or not you like guns or not, it really doesn't matter. If you acknowledge reality, there are people who have guns, lots of people in America, and they feel very offended. They feel very defensive when people start talking about their guns, all right? They really do. They always have. Alright, so there is a war taking place, and that is reality. Whether or not you like guns, you have to understand it's reality. So Donald Trump said, you know what, there's a war on our guns, alright, and I'm going to have to stand by that Second Amendment because it's going to uphold all the other amendments. Please believe it. And then he said, well, in fact, I have a list of 20. I made a list specifically of 20 different judges who I would appoint, who I would nominate, and it's up on my website right now. And you'll notice Hillary Clinton did not name one because you don't have one. Donald Trump has 20. Right, he said, this person's going to be pro-life. Notice how he keeps chanting pro-life, right? A lot of people don't believe him on his stance of pro-life. I don't know whether I want to believe him or not, but the thing is, at least he's saying pro-life, because believe it or not, life is good. It's a good thing to have. Conservative, he was looking for a conservative type judge who would just go ahead and conserve what the Constitution does mean and what it's always meant, instead of interpreting a new version of the Constitution. That's what Donald Trump said, and then they had another question. They said this. And the man on the television, he said this. The man on the television, he asked Hillary Clinton, he said, man, weren't you talking bad about the Second Amendment? I heard, and everybody else heard, you were talking bad about the Second Amendment, like you didn't like that stuff. Is that true or not? Right? Hillary Clinton said, of course she supports the Second Amendment. She just thinks that it needs to be infringed upon, basically, a little bit, like the common sense kind of way and stuff. She said we need to infringe on this particular amendment just enough. The amendment that specifically says do not infringe upon this amendment, she said we just need to infringe upon it a little bit more. She said so that we can save 33,000 people from dying from guns. Guess what? More often than not, those guns were shot by people. People actually were the ones that killed them with guns and stuff. So she's she's using words in a certain kind of way that's creating a false reality around people, and that they think that certain guns just jump up and grow legs and start shooting people. They don't. They actually get shot by other people, and usually this happens in a certain kind of area more often than not. There's certain places with very, very strong legislation already where a lot of people get shot with guns. But anyways, she talks about that, and then she says these keywords, these code words that you really need to pay attention to. She says she wants to close online gun sale loopholes. She wants to close gun show loopholes. What you gotta understand, you might not understand this yet, but basically, if those loopholes, or whatever she calls them, where you think you have rights, if those loopholes are closed, guess what? You ain't gonna be able to give a gun to nobody, right? Everybody's gonna have to pay top dollar for guns and stuff. They're gonna be absolutely, basically prohibited by the fact that you won't be able to afford no guns and stuff after a while. You won't be able to give guns to your children. You won't be able to give guns to your neighbors or anything like that. And I know a lot of people are like, what? There's no way connected. Yeah, it is. It's very connected. It's extremely connected. And then Hillary Clinton, I can quote her as saying, "I see no conflict in saving people's lives and defending the Second Amendment." That's what she closed with. Right? There is no conflict between those. In fact, if you defend the Second Amendment, statistically speaking, more people actually don't get killed by guns. And that's just the way that it is. So Trump was then asked... he actually just jumped right in and he said, you know what, yeah, not only was Hillary talking bad about the Second Amendment like she usually does, and not only was she trying to misinterpret the Second Amendment, not only was she trying to infringe on an amendment that has the word infringe, it has the words "thou shalt not infringe upon this," in the amendment, and she wants to infringe upon it. Not only that, I saw her when she was trying to infringe upon it, and the Supreme Court wouldn't let her infringe upon it, and she got very booty hurt, like real bad, like she really was all beside herself. She was really feeling all some sort of way, alright, when her infringing was not allowed by the court and stuff. And then Hillary, she was asked about that. She was asked about, like, hey, were you upset? Were you very much perturbed by the fact that your infringing was not accepted by the court? And she said, yes, I was upset. When my infringing upon an amendment that clearly says, do not infringe upon me, she said, I was very upset when that was not allowed, because toddlers, there's an epidemic of toddlers shooting people and also getting shot by guns, and I was trying to save them. Everybody in Washington, D.C. was desperately trying to save the toddlers, and I'm not kidding you. This is exactly what she said. She said, I want to be the savior of toddlers, and I know how to make laws that will magically save them. Now let's think about this, alright? Let's think about this real quick, alright? How many toddlers do you know who've been shot by guns, alright? Chances are there are people who know. One, maybe two. It's like this doesn't happen very often, all right? And when it does happen, guess what? There's usually a pattern. It's called a context. Usually there's a context, believe it or not, surrounding a baby getting murdered by a gun, all right? And lots of times these conflicts, these contexts, they follow a certain kind of pattern. And why don't we talk about the pattern, all right? Basically is what I'm here asking. And Hillary said, she said, I'm the savior of all toddlers, right? Everybody in Washington, D.C., we know how to make laws that'll save all sort of toddlers' lives, and it'll keep toddlers from killing people, and there's an epidemic of this, all right? Really, there isn't. Believe it or not, there is no such epidemic. And then Hillary Clinton, she just kept going with it. She said, there's an epidemic of toddlers getting killed, and I'm the only one who could save them, and I'm the only one who cares. In fact, she then accused Americans all across the nation of not taking proper precautions with guns, and the reason that they are not taking proper precautions around guns is Hillary has not enacted laws upon them. She basically said, you know how we legislate morality, and it's completely unconstitutional? She said, we're going to keep doing it, and we're going to want to do it some more, and we're going to call that common sense legislation, right? And we're going to legislate morality, and all y'all are deplorables, and you don't know how to take care of guns, and you're going to shoot your toddlers in the face, or they're going to shoot you, and guess what? I could have saved your life. Hillary Clinton inferred that she could have saved your life from the toddler epidemic. Alright. Trump, he was then asked directly afterwards, he was asked by the television man, hey, Donald Trump, why do you support assault weapons all over the place and open carry, alright? Why are you irresponsible in that way? And then Donald Trump said, guess what? He said exactly what we were saying earlier. He said, do you know about a city called Chicago? I believe Hillary Clinton's from Chicago. Guess what? Do you know about this Chicago place? There's all sort of gun violence. It's the toughest gun laws in the country. Hillary Clinton is from Chicago, ain't she? And she wants to take all this gun violence and multiply it across the country. This is exactly what's taking place, alright? He says, Chicago has gone straight full up retard when it comes to shooting everybody. And guess what? They have terrible gun laws. They're infringing on the Second Amendment over there in Chicago, and Donald Trump doesn't like it because he doesn't like people getting killed all over the place, which is what happens when you do that. And he said he was proud of himself. You know, he said he's proud of his NRA backing. And I know a lot of people feel a lot of sort of different ways about the NRA, but Donald Trump was very proud of that. And then he went on to say this. He said, you know what, I'm proud of all that. And also, I'm proud of these judges. I picked a whole bunch of judges, and they're definitely going to uphold that Second Amendment. And the thing is, it could be states' rights anyways, but he said, man, they're definitely going to do it. And I got a list of them, 20 of them. Go to my website right now, is what Donald Trump said. And then they asked him this question. Then the man on the television, I believe his name is Chris Wallace. What he does is he brings up Roe v. Wade. Alright, here's the thing about it. You and I have both heard of the court case Roe v. Wade hundreds of times. I guarantee it. We've heard of it more than any court case ever, alright, in the history of America. So he brings it up. It's because it's a significant topic. There's a reason that it's a significant topic. The reason is because the number of people who are growing more and more concerned about these out-of-control abortions, well, the number of people is growing. They don't like it anymore for great reason, because they researched it and they looked into the science of it, and it's disastrous, it's suicidal, so they don't like it, right? Chris Wallace brings it up. He then asked Donald Trump, he says, I understand you're pro-life. You're one of those pro-lifers, sir, and that's irresponsible, so I want to ask you about that. Why are you pro-life? And then Donald Trump, you know what I'm saying, he says, well, yeah, I'm pro-life. Please believe it. All right, he said quite firmly, I like life because life is good. Death is kind of bad for us. And he said he would absolutely, specifically, nominate and appoint Supreme Court justices who also firmly were pro-life and thus anti-death, which would be what abortion is. He said, I'm going to appoint pro-life judges. If you haven't understood already, I have a list of 20 of them, all right, who are very pro-life. And so Chris Wallace, he didn't seem to understand. He was like, so does that mean you're going to attempt to overturn Roe v. Wade? You know what I'm saying? The most prized possession of the Democratic Party. I don't know what you would say. He said, are you going to try to overturn this, this court case decision? And then Donald Trump said, yes, pro-life judges, it will be overturned. It will be overturned. And I know that scares the jeepers out of a lot of ladies out there. They think they're going to become sexual slaves and be forced to turn out babies all day long, all right, to their detriment. But see, just to squash that fear, at the end, Donald Trump says, hey, but believe it or not, we're going to overturn it. It's going to be overturned. But also the states are going to have the final say, period, all day long. So what that means is, depending on which state that you're belonging in, or that you happen to be in at the moment, you may or may not be able to get them. We're not for abortions at all. Donald Trump and his camp aren't for abortions, but however, if the state wants to have abortions, go ahead and have abortions, all right? You have the final say, is what Donald Trump said. He said you can do whatever you want, go to whatever state you want, and if you want to have 20 abortions in a row, go for it, all right? But however, we're not for abortions, all right? Then Hillary, right? She wants you to be a victim. She wants herself to appear as the victim all of the time. This is how Clinton wins campaigns, is by being an underdog victim type person. And she says everybody else out there is victims, all right? Said Donald Trump wants to defund Planned Parenthood and stuff. Thing is, if Planned Parenthood had demand, it would be able to fund itself. Right, but no, she wants you to pay for it and stuff. So she said, oh man, we have to help all the poor ladies out there, and we have to make sure that they can make decisions for themselves and their health. Here's the thing, if they researched it as much as I've researched it, they'd realize that lots of times it's bad for your health to do this, to do these abortions, right? So she was like, man, we gotta look after these poor ladies. There's no other way in the world that they can get health screenings and cancer screenings and things like that unless we have abortuary clinics everywhere. And you gotta pay for them, regardless if you like them or not. All right, and then she brought up, because she wants to be a victim. She wants you to be a victim. It's called narcissism, right? Then she brings up that Donald Trump wants to punish the ladies for getting the abortions. Well, understand this. If it's illegal, if it's very much frowned upon by the executive branch. And then after that, if the state says it's illegal, they agree that it's illegal, then that is a crime. Hillary Clinton was like, oh, how dare Donald, how dare he suggest that you would punish people for doing crimes and being involved in crimes. It's a crime. If you want to go to a different state where it's not a crime, do that. All right, and get your baby chopped up, just pulled out and chopped up if you want to, and sold off for body parts. And that is what we are talking about. Right? Specifically, they then went into the idea of late-term abortions. That is what I'm telling you about. Anybody with any sort of experience in babies and making babies understands that the fetus is this big when it starts to look like a dang human being. I mean, it really, really does. All right, so that's why a lot of people get their abortions. But there's something called late-term partial birth abortions. All right, it is what it sounds like, in that you can get a baby, like a full-grown looking baby, pull it out of the womb, chop it up, sell his parts. Donald Trump said, look, you are ripping, and that's a more accurate word. He said, you are ripping a baby from the womb, even up until the last day. Like, if you just waited one more day, the baby would be out and would be roaming around. He would be in the earth. You're taking that baby, ripping it out of the womb and chopping it up, and that is completely unacceptable, period, all day. Here's the thing which y'all don't understand. This is happening near you, all over the place. This, exactly what I described, is a bloody, disgusting mess. It is murder. Donald Trump says, that's unacceptable. And then Hillary Clinton, she was like, hey, Donald, all right, it's obvious, right, that I'm not a people person. It's obvious that I don't go around talking to people at all, not the way that you do. But then she starts to bring up women who she's met, who she's known personally, who have all had late-term abortions. I'm talking about the 8th month and the 9th month. How in the world does it take 8 or 9 months to figure out that you can't have this child? She says, I know all sort of ladies, and I've met all sort of ladies who've done this, and they are heroes, and they did it for miraculous reasons, and they deserve to be kind of worshipped, and you shut up about their rights. Alright, which sounds good, but you gotta understand, Hillary Clinton does not give a shit about nobody. You ain't never seen Hillary Clinton just talking to people out in public. She doesn't mention anybody's names by name. There are no people. She's made them up, is what I'm trying to tell you. And Hillary Clinton clearly establishes her support for the pulling out, the ripping out of a 9-month-old baby and chopping it up, maybe flushing it down the toilet. Donald Trump then finished by saying, what I described to you, what you can see on the internet, full vivid video and pictures and stuff, is the ripping out of a baby and chopping it up. And it's not acceptable. All day is not ever going to be acceptable for anybody. And that is the truth. Anyways, Chris Wallace then proceeded on to say this.